track. Oh, look at that. I think we're going to yeah, probably worked out. Can you turn off these balloons and explain? So back there, 3 balloons, and here in the settings, in the graphic settings, you can uncheck the draw boats and balloons. Okay, we can still see them. I think this would require a restart of X-Plane. Still balloons. Very disappointing. After a restart of X-Plane, the balloons seem to be gone. So let's pan around and see if they are really gone. Yeah, that seems to work. Now, as the balloons are gone, let's start another round of traffic circuit visual approaches. Here in Rotterdam. So I've chosen Rotterdam because it has no terrain and has a rather short runway of around about 2,000 meters. That requires some procedural discipline. It's not forgiving when you approach in an unstable manner, or if you have a floater. So what amount of fuel do we have now? It's 4680. Let's fuel this up to 6,000 kilograms. I will keep those numbers. 130 packs. We'll keep those for our realistic handling. So I've set up a static weather, very simple weather scenario with no wind, because I want to train the landing technique. First I want to accomplish good landings with no wind, and from there on you can alter the environmental conditions according to your training objective and train crosswind landings, things like that. So, as takeoff weight, we will have 63 tons, which CG is 31.3. Oh, so this must be on, of course. I have set the GPWS system off because I don't want the glide slope warnings to go off when I'm maneuvering into final approach, because I'm flying visual approach. A visual approach, I want to train that. So fueling is complete. I'm selecting departure and arrival runway, and runway only, no sit, no star, no approach. Okay, and additionally, I'm gonna enter a radial at the runway threshold. So the runway track is 235. I'm gonna select a radial of 1.5, so that gives us a blue line located at the threshold with normal incidence. So this tells us when we're flying around the airport in the traffic pattern. It will give us a clue when we are a beam threshold. Cockpit preparation checklist. Gears, pins and covers are removed. Fuel quantity, that's 5960 kilograms. Seatbelts are on. RDS are enough, and the bar ref, that's 1020. Cockpit preparation complete. So we still have the chocks, haven't we? And I think the parking brake is off because I was cooling the brakes. Okay, still a little bit hot. The brake fan, I will keep the brake fan on. So let's start the APU bleed is already on. Okay. Let's do the before start flow. Before start checklist, parking brake is on. Takeoff speeds and thrusts, 133, 133, 135. Flag 69. Windows are closed and beacon is on. Before start check is complete. Engine mode selector. Engine number 1, start. Engine number 1 available. Engine number 2 start. Engine number 2 available. After start checklist, entire ice is off ECAM status. That's checked. Pitch trim is down 01. At the rudder trim. Neutral. After start checklist complete. Let's check the flight controls. So, starting with the rudder. Full right. Neutral. Full left. Neutral. Ailerons and spoilers. Full right. Neutral. Full left. Neutral. Elevator full down. Neutral. Full up. Neutral. Flight controls are checked. Okay, let's taxi. And the brake temperatures are below 150 degrees, so it's permitted to take off. Taxi checklist. Flight controls are checked. Flap setting is 2. Radar and predictive wind shear is on and auto. Engine mode selector. Norm. ECAM memo. Oh. Takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist complete. That's runway 24. It's clear right. Clear left. So the lineup checklist: takeoff runway 24, TCAS and TARA, and the packs 1 and 2 are on. Lineup checklist complete. Rolling takeoff. .50 stable. Manflex SRS auto thrust blue. Thrust sets 100. V1 rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Nav. Autopilot on. So track FPA pull heading. Lever climb. Thrust climb. Set downwind course. 55 degrees, and then we're already ready for flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. Setting S speed. Approach phase and managed speed. Speed start track. Approach checklist. Barref 1020. Seatbelts are on. Minimum is no. Auto brake, forgot that, is medium. Engine mode selector. Norm. Alt. Flight director off. Autopilot off. So runway threshold and start chrono 45 seconds, flaps 2, and maintain altitude and maintain track. When you select flaps 2 on the A320, it will slightly roll to the left. As far as I know, this is actually realistic. And this is happening. "45 seconds, 20 back. Minus 400 feet per minute. Gear down. and set runway track 235. So base leg, flaps 3 and minus 700 feet per minute. Flaps full. Final turn. Checked. Slightly overshooting. Runway at sight. Too low. With one white. Two red, two white.
500.
Stable. Almost. Slight corrections.
400. 300. 200. 100. 50.
Go
40.
around.
30. 20. Retard. 10.
Flaps, positive climb gear up. Autopilot 1, track FPA. Track, lever climb, thrust climb. Hold star, speed. And make a flap 1. Downward course. S-speed. Hold star. Manage speed. Hold. Actually better to set the range to 20. Not really. Okay, the approach checklist. Apporach 1020. Seatbelts are on. Minimum is no. Auto brake medium. Engine mode selector none. Approach checklist complete. Flight director off. Autopilot off. A beam threshold. Chrono 45 seconds. flaps 2. "45 seconds already, so 20 bank, minus 400 feet per minute, and gear down." Base leg, minus 700 feet per minute, and flaps 3. Flaps full. Final turn. And set the runway track, of course. Oh. So I've descended too fast and I've overshooted the runway center line, so we're way too low. And I will go around.
$500.
Not stable. And I will go around. Just continue a little bit.
400.
I will go around when I'm over
300.
the runway threshold. Go around Mantoga, so let's go around track with thrust blue. Positive climb, gear up, and flaps. Autopilot 1, track FPA, track, lever climb, thrust climb. Flaps 1, speed checked, and flaps 1. Oh, sorry. So we need a speed. Approach phase. And set down course. Hold. So manage speed. And now the approach checklist. Barrev 1020, seatbelts are on. Minimum is no. Auto brake, medium. Engine mode selector, norm. Okay, so for the next approach, or this approach, I want to be more quick with the go around, more decisive. So I will go around immediately if the conditions for continuing the approach are not met. Because I see the danger if you do it like I did on this previous approach. There's some back and forth in my mind that I would like to continue, even though I said I would go around. So flight director off, autopilot off. So we are a beam threshold, start chrono 45 seconds, flaps 2. I can see this. There's a roll to the left. It's very subtle. Oh, I'm descending. I don't want to descend. So 45 seconds, 20 bank, minus 400 feet per minute, and get down. Runway track. So entering the base leg, so minus 700 feet per minute and flaps 3. Flaps full. Checked. So that's the runway. Too low. So let's see if I can stabilize this. Okay, we're too low. Go around. Mantoga. Never climb. Thrust climb. Autopilot on. Flaps. Positive climb gear up. Track FPA. Track. Okay. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. S speed. Okay, so I will continue a bit on the runway track to gain more time for configuring the aircraft. Alt. Can go to managed speed now. I'm setting the downwind course. 55. So those 45 seconds that you continue to fly downwind after passing the runway threshold, if you have wind, then you have to alter those 45 seconds to accommodate for the wind, of course. Approach checklist. Apporach 1020. Seatbelts are on. Minimum is no. Auto brake medium. Engine mode selector norm. Okay. Flight director off. Autopilot off. We're now at the threshold. Start chrono. Flaps 2. Okay, 45 seconds. 20 bank. Minus 400 feet per minute. And gear down. Set runway track. Here's the base leg, minus 700 feet per minute and flaps 3. Final turn, flaps full. Checked. There is the runway, and 2 red, 2 white. Slightly too low.
$500.
Stable.
$400. $300. $200. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Go around. Mantoga. Positive climb gear up. Flaps 3. Autopilot on. Track FPA. And track. Lever climb, thrust climb. Set downward course. Hold star. Flaps 1, speed checked, flaps 1. So, airspeed. Approach phase. Manage speed. Approach checklist. Apporach 1020. Seatbelts on. Minimum no. Auto brake medium. Engine mode selector norm. Approach check is complete. So the auto brake was disabled because I had a touchdown and the auto brake. After you touch down and go around, the auto brake goes off. So you have to repeat. This is one reason why you have to repeat the approach checklist after a go around. And you do a new landing. So beam threshold, start chrono and autopilot off, flight director off, and flaps 2. "45 seconds, 20 bank, minus 400 feet per minute, and gear down." Here comes the base leg, flaps 3 and minus 700 feet per minute. Flaps full. Checked. Oh, ooh. Overshooting and too low. Too high.
$500.
Go around Mantoga. Flaps, positive climb gear up. Autopilot 1, track FPA. Yes, I have the runway track. Okay. Track lever climb, thrust climb, and we're ready for flaps 1. And set S speed. Manage speed. Speed hold start track. Set downwind course, hold. Approach checklist. RF 1020. Seatbelts are on. Minimum no. Auto brake medium. Engine mode selector norm. Approach checklist complete. Flight director off. Autopilot off. A beam threshold. Chrono. And flaps 2. .45 seconds, 20 bank, minus 400 feet per minute, and gear down. Set runway track. Base leg, flaps 3, minus 700 feet per minute. Flaps full. Checked. Runway in sight, slightly too low. Landing, no blue landing checklist complete.
500.
Slightly too low. Go around Mantoga. Flaps, positive climb, gear up. Autopilot 1 on. Lever climb, thrust climb. Track FPA. Track. So we're ready for flaps 1. Setting S speed. Approach phase. Managed speed. Speed hold star. Setting downwind course. Hold. Approach checklist. RRF 1020. Seatbelts on. Minimum low. Auto brake medium. Engine mode selector norm. Approach checklist complete. Flight director off. Autopilot off. So, here's the runway threshold. Start chrono. Flaps 2. Oh, I've deviated about 100 feet. "45 seconds, 20 bank, minus 400 feet per minute. And gear down. Set runway track. So here comes the base leg. Flaps 3 minus 700 feet per minute. Flaps full. Final turn.
$1,000.
Checked. And that's the runway too low. Too red, too white.
$500.
Stable.
$400.
Slightly too
300.
high.
$200. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard, retard. 10, 5.
Auto brake, spoilers reverse. Deceleration. 70 knots.
Auto brake off.
Parking checklist. Parking brake is on. Engines are off. Wing lights are off. Fuel pumps are off. Parking checklist complete. So we had 6 tons on board. This is fine. Okay, look at those brake temperatures. I will get the chocks. And I will release the parking brake and keep the brake fan on. So I want to look at this landing in the replay mode. And I hope that X-Plane is not going to crash this time, because when you use the replay mode, when I use the replay mode and I scroll around in the replay mode, sometimes it's crashing. So this should be enough. Okay, let's see if it works. I actually like that. Maybe the nose gear was a bit hard. So often when I'm landing, I have misjudged the moment when to flare, or the rate at which I have to flare, and then I was often floating a bit and then falling down. But this time that went quite well. Here's my part of the debriefing. Did we follow standard procedures? No, not all checklists were conducted. I forgot the landing checklist. The execution of a go-around was delayed. Later in the flight, I improved and I executed the go-arounds promptly. Did we effectively identify threats? Yes, the balloons were noticed, and then the risk was managed by turning off the balloons. How was a customer's experience? That's up to you. Write in the comments. How was your experience? I'm curious. Any unanswered questions? Feel free to ask in the comments. What can we do better next time? Definitely do all the checklists. Maintain altitude, track and rate of descent more precisely. Thank you for watching a worm's flight. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you here next time. Bye bye.